Hello, guys. My name is Juan Pablo,
And I'm Shelly Muru.
and this is going to be episode one, our pilot episode of the Unbox'd Mental Health Podcast. Tell us a little bit about what mental health means to you.
To me, mental health is kind of anything regarding your feelings, your emotions, motivations, the way you look at life, things like that. I feel like are what make up mental health to me.
Okay, yeah, valid. So, if you don't mind sharing a little story or anecdote of your mental health journey, that's I'm sure everyone's very interested in hearing about why you sort of became a part of Unbox'd, but why you created Unbox'd as well. So,
No, yeah, for sure. I think my mental health journey, it didn't begin until I was honestly in high school, because in elementary school and middle school, I didn't really understand what mental health was, and I never really considered, how I'm feeling. Like,
yeah,
I never really put much thought into any of that. Sometimes I would know that I was like, I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling down, and certain feelings I would be like, why do I feel like this? I want this feeling to stop. But I never really knew what that meant.
okay.
I never really knew what that was until.
And so, yeah, when was this moment of realization of like, like recognizing your mental health?
I think the first time I really understood, okay, like, people are trying to change, like, how you view mental health and trying to deal with mental health, and, like, that's something that, if you put a Band-Aid on, like, an injury, it's like there's certain things that could help with mental health, like a little Band-Aid. Was actually in middle school, we had little mindfulness moments.
Mindfulness moments.
Yeah, so we would like do like little meditation and things like that, and it was really sweet. I honestly didn't give much thought to it at that time, but it helped me see, like, okay, like, this is something people are talking about, like mental health, like that's
And
something.
If you don't mind going in a little more depth, what are mindfulness moments?
So for us, it would be like different things. It would be breathing techniques one day. It would be how to meditate properly. So our teacher in our homeroom class would just kind of sit us down for like 15 minutes, and we would just learn how to do certain breathing techniques or meditation techniques.
Yeah.
And it would just be our time to kind of reflect, and then we would go into our homeroom and like just like do
Very
our work.
cool. Very cool. And you would say that these are effective?
I would say, I feel like personally, I just didn't give much thought into it. I always did it, and I was like, okay, but I never understood the meaning behind why I was doing it or how it was impacting me until much later. Because I feel like the initiative to show us these mindful techniques was really, really good, but I feel like they didn't really explain why they were showing it to us or what this helps us deal with.
You bring up a good point. How you didn't really know what you were doing, but it was good. It was effective because it was sort of instilling in you like these values of understanding your mental health, of recognizing mindfulness techniques. So I feel like it's a big initiative by our school. I give them good props for that. And obviously mental health is something that you regard with importantly now. So it did have an impact on you, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely did, because those little moments like made me realize, okay, this was like something that I need to take care of, my mental health. And then when I did get to high school and I realized, okay, like, mental health is something that's very important. It's something that I do struggle with, in terms of just being able to control my feelings and understand them.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I actually need to like learn these ways to cope. I actually need to put these little techniques into practice because they're actually helping me. And it was hard because I feel like I never really properly went to therapy.
No, yeah.
I tried to,
It's very difficult
it is.
For students, especially, to get the resources that they need. It's extremely expensive, and
that is true.
As well as like, oftentimes you see patients, or just students in general, they get to therapy like 1 or 2 times, and then they get prescribed the medication.
Yeah.
And so that oftentimes, personally to me, seems like you're not really fighting for a solution. You're just looking for a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So the issue is going to reemerge. It's going to persist. What are your thoughts on medication? I know. We're not necessarily coming from a psychiatrist perspective, but I mean, who understands it better than students that have peers going through it, constantly around us? I feel like we'd have a pretty good understanding. So
I think when you talk about medication, there's such a like large umbrella there. I mean, medication in terms of like stuff like for like depressive disorders.
Yeah, like SSRIs.
Like, that's completely different than like, I know a lot of kids with like ADHD that take like I forgot the name of it.
Adderall.
Yeah, Adderall.
Yeah.
And that helps them focus. And I think things like that are genuinely useful because I know like a lot of kids struggle with focusing, and it's like it's not their fault that they struggle so much to focus.
Yeah.
Whereas, their peers are able to focus,
Of course.
And I feel like for them they need that little bit of help to be able to get their mind to focus and, just put their body into ease. And I think in that case that could be used, like medication is used as a tool to help students. But I feel like that also, leads to dependence and all of that, which is in turn negatively affecting them. But I feel like in terms of like, for depression, I know there's like Prozac and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like in cases where people are, genuinely very depressed and they're a harm to themselves or those around them, then I feel like
then it's
medication is a solution to that. And sometimes, I mean, we don't want to put Band-Aids on an issue, we want to solve it. But I mean, if you have a cut, you're going to put a Band-Aid on it.
That's true. Sometimes it's the best way to start.
Band-Aid, the little Band-Aids are the start to the solution.
But with that being said, I feel like in addition to medication, there needs to be treatment. There needs to be treatment of the mind with a therapist. 100%. Because with just medicine alone, it's not going to do anything. You're going to build a dependency. You're going to build a threshold, and it's going to lose its effectiveness. So there's definitely an upside to medication, like you just said.
Yes.
However, oftentimes there's a case of people just being prescribed medication and just being thrown at them. I myself, I've had a therapist who would just like go on antidepressants, and I don't necessarily think that that's a terrible thing, but I feel like it's sort of a lazy way of dealing with this issue. It's not really being effective. It's just hooking kids on this medication.
I feel like psychiatrists need to know when a child genuinely needs medication and when they don't need it, because a lot of kids, I don't think need to be put on all of that medication.
No, I know.
I think they just need some talk therapy.
It oftentimes does more harm than good.
Exactly. But I will say medication is good if you do need it.
No, that's true.
Because in certain cases, kids, adults, everyone, like
medication
they
is
might
critical.
need it. That is what they need.
Exactly.
And in that case, you can't sit there and be like, no, I don't want to give the medication. I'm not going to put a Band-Aid on it, because if you don't start somewhere, you're never going to be able to heal them. You're never going to be able to treat them.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I guess that leads me into my next question. Unbox'd is a mental health awareness organization. What's sort of your goal as the vice president of Unbox'd? What is something you're trying to achieve? Is it something that you achieve within Cal, the university, or is it something that you see more within, the community?
To be honest, with Unbox'd, I just really want to create a sense of belonging for students. I feel like, especially when, you go to a big school like Cal, it's really, really easy to feel like you don't fit in.
Definitely.
And yes, there's a lot of different organizations and communities within Cal, but they're also very, very...
cliquey.
Exactly, and also selective. I mean, yes, there's so many clubs, but all these clubs are so selective,
100% agree with you.
When you keep getting rejected, you feel like, okay, I don't fit in, I don't belong, I'm not good enough.
Exactly.
Even, associations like the Indian Student Association, they're, very welcoming and it's amazing, but you still need to go through applications to get in.
Applications,
exactly.
On top of a busy workload at school.
And it's also like, the ISA, I'm not picking out any club, but like the Indian Student Association, it's about being Indian. In my community, I'm Indian. I want to be part of the student association at Cal.
Yeah.
Why do I have to go through all of that to just get in?
Yeah.
And then, sometimes I don't even feel like I belong in that community. And I feel like that's not fair. It's very depressing as a student to feel like you go to such a school and you don't belong anywhere. You don't feel like any community wants you.
Okay.
Like really respects you in that sense.
No, yeah.
And I feel like that's what I want to create with Unbox'd, because all these students, they have so many different identities. I don't think anyone has one singular identity we're all a mix of so many different things. There's like your nationality, your ethnicity, and then
The languages you speak.
Exactly, and then growing up, what experiences you bring. Everyone is so different, and I feel like dealing with that just on your own and figuring out who you are is so difficult in and of itself.
It puts a lot of stress on the student.
And then coming to Cal and coming to college, even, it's like, okay, so now you're an adult, deal with all of that, learn who you are, and not just as a child or as a kid, but now as an adult, and kind of putting all of these responsibilities on you of, okay, now, you got to set up for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And I feel like doing all of that in such a high pressure environment where you don't feel like you belong is a setup to just ruin your mental health.
Yeah, so it puts into perspective how daunting college could be, especially at a institution like Berkeley, where it's extremely selective for the clubs, and you sort of lose your sense of belonging.
Even I definitely agree, and even more than just a sense of belonging, I feel like
A sense of self?
I feel like so many kids come to college thinking, okay, this is my way to prove myself, this is my way to do better, I want to put in my everything. And, sometimes I feel like college kind of just tells these kids, okay, now you're failing in this, you're failing in that, you're getting rejected, and it just demotivates these kids. And I feel like that is what really sucks, because college is so many kids' way out of, struggling. It's their way to move up the social ladder, get jobs, do better for themselves and the family they have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come to college with all those hopes of, okay, I'm smart, I can do this, I'm going to put in the hard work, but then feeling like I don't have a community, I don't belong, I'm all alone.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I'm not doing as well as I hoped, I'm not doing as well as I expected, even though I'm putting in my best effort.
I feel like this can be said academically and 100%. In regards to mental health.
100%. And I feel like when you feel like you're not good enough, that's when your mental health kind of starts crumbling. At least, for me and a lot of other kids, that's when other things that didn't really affect you before that you were able to deal with becomes even more pressing.
Mm-hmm. And so it's Unbox'd as an organization that's coming to this and reaching out to students and allowing them to join a sense of community.
Exactly.
And there are no applications with Unbox'd, right?
Yeah. No, because Unbox'd is whatever you need it to be. Because everyone needs different things. Everyone needs help in a different way. And we want Unbox'd to be that one-stop for you, for everyone, where you can get all the help that you deserve.
Support.
All the support that you deserve. And you're going to be connected with different people that are in the same boat as you, who are in here to, compete with you.
No, it's not about competition. Exactly. It's about creating a sense of belonging.
Exactly. We're your friends. We're all, part of this community where we want to uplift each other and
do these mindfulness practices that you did back in middle school. It's our objective to do so and to create positivity. It's not so much about competition or applications or any of that. It's just about talking to people on a real level, talking about your day, talking about your issues, and working through it, finding mindfulness techniques that work with you, and going with it. It's not a high commitment organization. No. It's very uplifting and it's very free.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've had moments in your life, in your upbringing, where you felt a struggle with mental health. You struggled with mental health. How did you overcome it then? What motivated you to keep on going and to, continue pushing yourself to reach where you are today?
I would definitely say the people around me.
Anyone in particular?
My brother.
Okay.
I feel like that's why Unbox'd is super important to me, is because the people around me is what kept me going.
Yeah, definitely.
The community that I had, the people that I, relied on, my support system, that's what kept me going. Every time I felt like I couldn't do it or I didn't want to, or it was too hard. I always had my brother to tell me to not quit and to keep going, that I worked so hard and that it would be stupid to quit right now. Just keep going. You did it. Just a little cherry on top. You got this.
So it's sort of like a resiliency that he kept motivating you.
Exactly. And I feel like so many kids have that passion within them. They have that drive. It just, times get tough. Everyone has their bad day. And during those bad days or bad weeks,
bad months, bad years even.
Exactly. People need someone to tell them that they can do it. People need someone in their corner. And I feel like for students who don't necessarily have that, have that person or have those support system or that people, unfortunately they don't have that in their life. I want Unbox'd to be that for them, to keep them going, to tell them, don't quit now. You did it, you can do it, you can succeed. And I'm very grateful that I had people that believed in me so much to keep me going even when I didn't want to. And I really want Unbox'd to be that for people who don't, have that support system.
As
I
do
want
I.
Unbox'd to be that support system.
Yeah. Well, great. It was fantastic having you on the show today.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see more from Unbox'd together
Definitely.
soon. Alrighty.